Hello guys, welcome back. This is the fourth video in the Days of Databricks series. I am just continuing from where I left. Right in the earlier video, we went through the cluster creation, and it was just taking some time to create the cluster. As I said, it turns green when the cluster creation is completed. Right? What do we do next? We will go through how we can create the notebooks in Databricks so that we can use this cluster in that notebook. What we can do, we can go to this plus icon here and it says here notebook, right? If we just click this notebook, it will show us this thing here. What is this? Looks similar to Jupyter Notebook, right? But it's far more powerful than the Jupyter Notebook. There are many things happening here behind the scene. And one thing here, you can just give the notebook your name. Let's say, I just want to give first notebook. Right. The first thing that we do, give the name a unique name for. Now I just give first notebook, right? And here's the Python. We haven't mentioned anything, but there, it appears to be a Python, right? So what is this? If you click this icon here, it shows here, okay? There is Python, there is SQL, there is Scala, there is R. What is this? It says here, set the default language for this notebook. New cells will use the choose on language. You can write SQL code, you can write Scala code, you can write R code, as well as Python code in the same notebook. But you need to choose one of the default one when we create the notebook. But when you create the notebook, let's say there is the Python notebook, but we can still write the SQL. I will explain all these things, but you get the idea. You don't need to have different notebooks for different languages. You can create one notebook. Let's say that I change these to SQL. It will say here that, okay, changing the default language may render cells without a Python declaration. Invalid. I haven't explained you. What is this percentage? Python sign. This is the magic commands, right? This is how we can specify different programming languages in another notebook. I will say cancel here, just to show you what I mean, right? This is the Python, right? What I can do here, let's say that I will show you, just as it is just to show you how it works. So I can just say here, print hello old. That is the normal things that people do always. And similar to Jupyter Notebooks here, it's a shift intro to run and shift, Carl enter, to run selected text. You can even run the selected text if the code is quite long, right? But now we will do shift enter. Just look on the screen what it will display. If I run shift, enter, okay? It shows something here. And if you noticed before, there was no cluster here, but now it automatically uses the cluster and it is waiting to run. If we have not started the cluster, it will not run. Just to show you, this is one good example, also to you, how to cancel the cluster, or how to terminate the cluster, how to restart the cluster. That is what I mentioned you in my previous video, right? If you go to the notebooks on the top here, if you click this, it will open this one. It says connected, and if you hover on top of this, it says detach, detach, and reattach, restart, terminate configuration, Spark, UI driver, locks, all the different things can be already visualized from this particular thing. This is one way how you can do all the different things mentioned here. Let me actually terminate for now. Just to show you I terminate this, it will ask, are you sure you want to terminate this? The action will affect all users of the compute resources. Why it is saying all users? Because there might be many users using the same resources. That's the beauty of Databricks. Clusters. I will say confirm. Now it is saying here, terminating, right? Now if you want to run this particular cell with shift, enter, it will not run because there is no cluster associated with it, right? It says here, uploading the command, and nothing happens here, right? By the way, one another way to run, this is also from this run, is terminated. It says this notebook is attached to a cluster, which has terminated, and you do not have permission to restart it. Would you like to attach to a different compute resources? You can say cancel or create new resource. If you do create resource, it will show you the different resources here. Again, you can provide the name of cluster again, which will automatically attach to current notebook. Just say create cluster, and it is going to create the cluster. It is going to take some time, so you need to wait until the cluster start first, then only you can execute any cell. Now you change the cell and can execute again with newly created cluster, and it will say how the Python works. This video is going to be a little bit longer, but I will just show you how you can run, maybe let's say SQL. Also, that's the same for other programming language. Also, it is saying it's still running, and as you can see, it is Python. We know because the notebook here is Python, but here it is showing, here Python. Now let's see how we can change this. What I can do, I can say %, SQL. As you can see, it is Python here, but when I run %, SQL, it turns into SQL, meaning that in the same notebook way, which is created using Python as the default language, we can run SQL code also because now it is turning to SQL cell. So what I can do here, now write SQL commands. What are the other things that we can do? We can even do R. If I do R, it turns into R and Scala, and you can write R code here. That is how you can use different. And by the way, I use this Python. But if this was SQL, in order to run the Python, what I need to do is %Python, right? So then it will be Python. I hope you get the idea. That's all I want to show you in this video. So next video, I will show you how you can upload data into Databricks so that you can start working inside the notebooks using the data that you uploaded in Databricks. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.